Okay, so we were chatting before I hit record, and you asked how you can play a part in this conversation. And my response is that you are the star of this conversation. The way you live your life, the way you navigate challenges, the way you actually don't even know you've had challenges can be somewhat comical, right? And we've talked about that before.
Mhm.
And so I think there's a lot of people out there who are facing a lot of challenges. I feel like we should formally start this
Okay, go.
just so that we can have this conversation. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I don't even know how we want to start it, but let's pause and smile. Okay, and so welcome to our very first conversation that we're calling Miracle Mondays. And we're laughing as we are like entering this conversation to say we don't even really know what we're doing exactly, and we don't even know exactly why we're doing this. But I convinced you, along with Uva's help, to have these conversations because, and it's funny again, I'm sharing, the pre-conversation to us landing where I hit record, which is, as I'm having this conversation with my mom, because I guess, you and I are chatting, but we're also going to share this to inspire other people. So as we're chatting, you're saying, I don't even know what role I can play in this conversation. And it's like, well, just to let you know, you are the main character.
Oh dear. Yeah, okay.
You are the main character, and I know that's really uncomfortable for you. And I
Mhm.
know you prefer to just kind of, do your thing and quietly do your thing. And I, being that I have gotten really used to social media and public platforms, and I've also seen the power of being able to inspire other people using this vehicle. I really wanted to have this conversation with you. Well, we have these conversations anyways. So we have these conversations anyways, but I think that so many people could be inspired by you. And I think you're a gift to the world, and we need to get that gift out there. People need to hear and can benefit from hearing how you do life. So, what started this Miracle Mondays is that you're pretty freaking amazing. And I will let you talk, but I'm sure you'd rather me talk as I'm saying these things anyways. But
Mm.
you are amazing at how you live your life. The way you think about challenges, the way you navigate challenges with like incredible grace, the way, as we've talked a gazillion times, you don't even think you've had challenges, which is comical because of the life that you've lived. And so we have all of these beautiful conversations all the time. You, me, Brad, which is my brother, mom's son, who's amazing and hopefully will join us in these conversations at different times. But we have these conversations all the time, these meaningful conversations about how you do life, how we do life, what we believe, and it's a bit of a different approach than many people have. And over time, whether it's today or whether it's another day, sharing the challenge that you have just been facing and are currently facing and how you have done this. Because here's the thing, there are so many people facing challenges, whatever those challenges might be, and they don't know how to navigate them. And they are as lucky as I am to have you as a mom who gets to have this example of how to do life, right? Imagine all the people out there and they've never had a you. They've never heard people speak the way you speak. They get thrown challenges because everybody does. And they don't know how to navigate it. And the way you navigate it, the way you navigate life, the way you do life, how you show up, you are amazing. So, do you have anything to say as I say that? And it's okay if you don't. I just want to, how does it feel when I say that? I guess that's the first question that would be really, interesting to, how does it feel when I say all that about you, Mummy?
Well, the thing is, you just are who you are, and you
Yeah.
don't know how to do any other way. So I don't know what I do, and I don't know what I say. I have no clue.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And so, do you want to share? I mean, I can share a bit about um, life growing up with you, but I kind of feel like it's irrelevant and it's going to come over time. So, I'm wondering if you would be comfortable just talking about the elephant in the room. Like, what have you been going through over this last chunk of time? Because we can talk about your life and all of the challenges that you've had, and there's a list of them that I'll have to remind you because you don't know.
Yeah.
But like, what really inspired this was the right here, right now, and how amazing you are. So, anything you want to share about that?
Well, why don't you start that conversation?
Okay. I just want to make sure I word it in a way that honors
It's fine.
you.
I mean, the point is,
Okay.
what we know that this isn't something that I normally
Talk
do,
about our share.
or
I know.
no, not at all.
I know. So that's one thing I would like to say. So my mom is very private. She just does what she does quietly behind the scenes and doesn't talk about challenges at all. Like, that's one of the things. You don't talk about challenges at all. Now, part of that is the NLP training and us knowing the power of our words, which is why I really want to make sure that I hold on to and we hold on to the fact that the purpose of this is to inspire people that there is a way to do life where you can enjoy your life and have beautiful relationships in spite of the challenges you have. So the conversation isn't about the challenge.
No.
The conversation is about how you have navigated the challenge, right? So the challenge that we're talking about is cancer. And mom has been working on healing since June of last year. That's when you found out that there was a problem.
Well, I kind of found out in France when I couldn't breathe.
Yeah. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Um,
Like, what happened in France? So leading up to France,
mhm.
you kind of knew there was something going on.
Yeah, I mean, I had a challenge walking up hills and my breathing was labored, but I just thought it was like everybody else. People were
That's right.
having problems and they just
Yeah.
got
Get a puffer
yeah,
or yeah,
or
other people would.
antibiotics or something.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, that's me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then yeah, and so I didn't pay serious attention to it. Um, and then went off to France to an artist's residency at this amazing,
Because
beautiful.
she's also an artist. Can you turn, is it easy for you to turn and show the painting that, like, look at that? Stunning. My mom painted that because you won't toot your own horn. I'll toot it for you. Okay, so you went to France, just
And
went to France to a little artist's something in a castle.
yeah, in a chateau with my friend.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so the chateau was on a hill, and my art studio was on the third floor of the chateau. My bedroom was on the second floor of another building. And so everything caused me to have to exert myself walking upstairs or hill or whatever. And so I was there for 2 weeks, and close to the end of the 2 weeks, I mean, I could barely breathe. So they actually took me to the hospital, and I had to have my lung drained. And yeah, it was pretty darn scary by that time. I mean, really super scary. So for somebody who doesn't remember scary or whatever, it's like I remember being in the bed in the hospital. Well, actually, I went to one hospital and they found out that I needed to have my lungs drained. Then they put me in an ambulance, took me to another hospital the next day. And anyways, I had to
And so
wait.
you're in France, you were with a friend, but the friend was at the in the arts retreat, artist retreat, whatever that was. So you were in the hospital in a country that spoke a different language than you, without Uva, without family, by yourself,
Yeah.
with all of this happening.
It was pretty scary. I mean, the first night, the chateau, the people that were running the art residency, they sent somebody with me who was wonderful, and she stayed with me the first night when they did all the testing. So she was really great, and then she left. But I have to say, honestly, the hospitals were amazing. The people were just like so kind and so good, and didn't even seem to matter that we couldn't understand each other. It was
Oh,
like,
thank goodness for that.
honestly, they were just amazing. So, anyways, but I do remember that night, the night before, thinking, oh my God, I do not want to die here without my family around me. Like it was very scary.
Yeah,
And I don't go into scary very easily, but yeah. So then the next day they drained. So I couldn't come home unless they did this.
yeah.
And so luckily, I happened to be in an area where the expert was in this
Thank goodness
particular
for that as
thing.
well.
I know. Anyways, and so
Miracle Monday.
yeah,
Lynn.
exactly. Really, because another doctor wanted me to stay for a couple of weeks, and I don't know what he wanted to do, but the expert, he said yes, he'd do the draining, and so he did it in the morning, and yeah, they drained a lot of fluid out of my lung. Kind of
Do
bizarre.
you remember how much, because of like where it is now compared to where it was then?
2 liters.
Wow.
And so yeah, it was very exciting. I remember walking down the hall from having been drained, and I could actually walk and breathe, and
Yeah.
walking from my bed to the window to look out at the view. It was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. So, anyways, ended up going back to they picked me up. The people at the chateau were really wonderful, picked me up, went back to the chateau, and literally packed my suitcase, and because I was flying out the next day. So it was yeah. And so then I'll say fine. Um, I
Fine
could
enough to move your body to get
absolutely,
on a plane to come home.
yes, I
Yeah.
was fine.
Yeah.
It was just a different experience. I mean, oh my gosh, we got Marnie Rose was so amazing helping me at the airports and on the train, and just everything so helpful. And
Can we just pause this conversation for just a moment
yeah,
for whoever, maybe the one person who might watch this. I don't know who's going to watch this.
yeah,
Everything that you're sharing, and this is why I want to have these conversations to inspire others, is you're telling us all of the wonderful things that happened. So here you are, you're in France, you can't breathe, you go to a hospital, they have to move you to another hospital, they don't speak a language, you're scared, you don't want to die in France, and you're like, and the hospital was lovely, and I mean Marnie Rose was amazing, and like everything was, which is, I just want to say, like, this is how mom records things in her mind, which is the gift that we all, that I want to get, that I've been blessed to be surrounded by, and that others, I hope, can hear that. It's like, here we are, we're in it, the same story could be told a very different way, but the way you record it in your mind is like amazing.
Yeah, people were just so kind and so good. And when we went back to the chateau, there was other, I don't know if we had 20 artists total. When we went back, I got back for this celebration and I stayed for like a few minutes, but um, I told the people who were running it, I don't want anyone to ask me about this. I don't want to be remembered by me going to the hospital. I'd
Yeah,
rather be remembered in a different way. So
yeah,
yeah, so it was yeah, just yeah, it was. I mean, really, I can't help it. That's how I remember things.
yeah.
And again, I got to go in a wheelchair at the airport, so that meant
Oh, lucky
we
you.
got to board early and before everyone else. And
Yeah. All these
I,
pros to having had this experience.
that's right. And I don't mean to minimize it, but the truth is, these are the things that honestly I somehow sincerely remember.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, my roommates, I had Marnie Rose and Heather I roomed with these two beautiful women who were really, really nervous about my health when I just didn't do anything about it. And they ended up telling the people that ran the chateau, but they were just like, they were so kind, these women, that if it wasn't for them, like they were the ones who reported me.
Because your kids weren't there to.
Yeah, exactly. So, they were really super concerned. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's challenging when it's you yourself. How do you know when to be concerned and when not to be concerned? Everything happens slowly, kind of.
That's right. That's right.
So, so yeah, thanks to them, Heather tattled on me. And and
Thank
so,
you. I should write Heather a thank you note.
yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. So then I came home and then the journey really like started. And yeah, and just a few days later, they drained another 15 or yeah, what is it? 1.5 liters. And then they started testing here and whatever, it doesn't really matter. Then I got into the, yeah.
So this is where mom gets uncomfortable. And I do think this is part of the gift, so I'm not going to push it in any way.
Mhm.
But this is all part of why I want to share sort of who you are and how you do life. Um, and for like Miracle Mondays, it's like we have a choice in how we look at life. We have a choice in how we think about things. Um, we can choose to look for mini miracles all the time. You just how you shared, what happened in France, and the mini miracles that led you on the path to, what we're all seeing as like a long time here with us. The fact that there were hills and stairs and all of these external things that one could think was a negative, but that really could also be seen as a little mini miracle in forcing you to get the care that you needed to get.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
It definitely pushed me. I had no choice.
yeah,
I mean, really, it was down to no choice at
yeah.
that by that
And
time.
we needed to know this about your health so that you could get on the path to healing,
That's right. Yeah.
right?
But I
Um,
sincerely, when I remember my trip, like, I didn't get to do really anything I planned on doing in terms
yeah,
of my art. I just didn't.
yeah.
Um, Although we got an outline written for a book. Um, did you want to say something?
No, I just said, oh, I wonder why you didn't get much done.
Oh,
That's all I said.
yeah. I really didn't do the things that I had
Yeah.
planned. Marnie Rose and I had been planning this for like over a year because you have to get accepted to go to this place. You put in an application and it's one of the top 10 in the world. And so we got accepted, and there my not being able to do my art.
Well,
But
maybe you'll get to go back and do it again one day.
who knows?
Yeah.
But sincerely, I have to say, when I think of it, like even the place that we stayed, honestly, when I think of it, I think of the rose bush outside the window and us taking all these photos of the roses as they, bloomed, thinking I was going to paint them, of course.
Yeah.
Um, and, like those kinds of things. And
So again, from like an inspiration, a learning from you, I say to you all the time, you have so much wisdom, you have so much to share. And I know that you're not drawn to like go public and post on social media. It's just not where you're at in your life. But if we can have these conversations to share a different way of thinking and living and approaching life. So, what mom hasn't said is ultimately the lung draining that she needed was because of cancer.
And I'm
Right?
still doing it, so I get it twice a week. But I wanted to say something else about, of course, in a positive direction.
I know.
I don't
I'm going to
remember.
have to remind mom of her challenges. And again, not to focus on the challenge, but because I want my hope for these conversations.
Know what
Go.
I wanted to share.
Good. Say.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but
No.
so it's interesting because you want me to share this side, but really, this is what motivates me to want to teach people the skills that allow them to change the way they think.
Right.
So it's one thing to hopefully inspire people to know things are possible and all of those things, but it doesn't necessarily teach them how they can change. And so that's my thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm more comfortable sharing from a perspective of here's how you change this and here's what you can do here and so on. Um, because this is a much easier way to view the world, like really.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a really challenging situation as I don't know if the word is bearable, but as lovely as it can be. It allows you to enjoy what you do have while you're going through and, going through what you're going through, because some people, and understandably so, this is not to like minimize in any way, shape, or form, but like some people get consumed by their challenges and
Mm.
then rob themselves of the ability to enjoy any beautiful moment that might be there because they're so in the problem. And
Mhm.
you have, I'm going to like do a really big, because we're going to talk every week. So we're going to have lots of opportunities to share about this. But just to let everyone know, so here we are in April. We just had a birthday that we didn't celebrate. um, we're in April. This was last June. So June,
Oh, in
July.
May. I was in France in May. Middle of May, came home the end of May.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to say June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 11 months
Mhm.
of going to appointments, of taking medications, of getting your lungs drained. It was every 3 days and now it's twice a week. So you go 4 days and 3 days. Um, you have a port in your body to do that. You can't go in water. You can't travel. Like your life is very consumed by appointments and all the things to do with your health and getting healthy, right? So
Yes.
that's what your days look like. That's what your life looks like. And yet you're smiling and happy and joyful and have non-birthday celebrations and laugh and do Zooms with your daughter who persuades you into doing things like this. Like you are amazing.
When we were together at the non-celebration, and both Maddie and Julia made comments and wrote in the cards about me being strong. It's like, I don't get it. Like, I don't sincerely get, you just are who you are.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. So what I will say is, I know you know this, but you are an amazing person who lives your life in a way that most people don't live their life. And you have what we haven't said is you're a master trainer of NLP, a master trainer of NLP, neuro linguistic programming. You've had a successful business for, I think you've said 25 years for the last
And third, yeah.
25 years, for like 35 years or something. Um, you have done, and so I always lean into sort of like the inspire side of things. I really, I love the idea of inspiring people to change, and to live their life in a certain way. And you love to teach people the how to, like, let's get to the nitty gritty. Forget inspiring. That's just like, what a waste of time, because if you're inspired but you don't do anything, then there's no, like, what's the point? And so I just wanted to share that piece of who you are. You've been helping people change their lives forever. Corporations, individuals, it doesn't matter. You've been doing it. I had the pleasure of working with you for 17 years in the family business. I'm a master practitioner of NLP. My mom trained me in that and certified me in that. So like, there is the who you are. There's also the training that you've had, and there's this beautiful combination of, you were always this person because you've had challenges since you were a little itty bitty one that we can go through over time, in my like teasing you about, you think you've had no challenges, but you have. So there was a certain way that you lived your life always, prior to learning how you actually did it and then teaching other people.
Mhm.
So part of it is who you are at the core and how you came into this beautiful world. And the other part of it is you learned like the skills to be able to break down what it is that you do and then help other people do the same thing in their lives. And then I happen to be this really lucky person who won the lottery and got you as my mom. Number one, to have you as my mom raising me. Number two, to learn NLP and to then go on and do my little piece of helping people change their lives as well, right? So it's kind of like this beautiful, I don't know, it's just, we're very lucky.
We are. We're very, very lucky. Like, oh, we've got the most amazing family and everybody gets along and we have fun together. There's never challenges within the family.
You know,
And yeah, we're just
and
so,
support each other, and we get to show up as we are, and like unconditionally love each other. Like, we just get to be who we are in each moment. We're so lucky.
mm,
So I don't know, I didn't even pay attention to what time we started this, but I feel like we've probably had a long enough conversation for our first conversation. So
yeah.
I'll just say, ChatGPT said that we should say what people can expect from these conversations, and I have no idea. You're going to get whatever little chit chat conversation mom and I choose to have, all with, and maybe Brad sometimes. And I even had visions of like the girls coming on because of how they view you. Um, but mom is the star of this conversation. Yes, you are. We want to hear how you live your life. And of course, I'll share how I live my life in it. Like, it'll all blend, but you are the reason that we are doing Miracle Mondays. Even the fact, like, what you've gone through and where you are now to be able to do this is a miracle. Like you
Mhm.
said, you didn't want to die in France. You know, I don't want you to die, period. I mean, I know that's inevitable. None of us get out of here alive, but let's just say this
Mhm.
birthday that mom just had 2 days ago, mom didn't want to, have like celebrate. And I'm like, for me, it felt so special because there was a fear that I wouldn't get that birthday with you. And so we're just going to have conversations every week. you know, Miracle Mondays is what we're calling it. I'm sure there'll be little tidbits of miracles. I'm sure there'll be how mom does what she does. You know, the thing is people all around the world are facing challenges. Like, life, no one is exempt. That's one thing you and I talk about all the time too. It's like no one is exempt. It doesn't matter how amazing of a person you are, all the skills you have, karma and being a good person. And that's going to come back. Yes, but everyone faces challenges.
Yes, most definitely. And some people's lives, oh my gosh, I don't know how they function, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So,
so if we can help others live a beautiful life in spite of it, if we can help others change the way they think in a different way, you know, see more of the beauty that is in their life, all of those things, be happier and more at peace inside so that they can then go and do whatever it is that they're here to do. That's what I want this conversation to do through the lens of, or through the whatever of you and how you do this, because you're amazing.
Well, and so one thing I wanted to say that I feel is, I mean, maybe it's not important in this.
I'm
uh,
sure it will be important. Go.
Well, what I was just thinking is the other thing that kind of relates to what we're doing here, which is very different for me, is that there's probably 10 people in the whole world beyond my family. And when I say the whole world, you know, I have friends that I work with around the world.
This came from France. This came from wherever. Yeah.
And so the thing is, honestly, I was thinking about it this morning and thinking of the people that know, but I would say there's no more than 10 people that I shared what I was going through. And some of them have only just heard about it. But I wanted to say the reason why I didn't. And that's because I don't want anyone feeling sorry for me. I
Mhm.
don't want anyone having, sad thoughts about me. I don't want anything that's negative about what people know about cancer or whatever.
Yeah.
I just needed to be inside by myself or with people that would support the miracles
Yeah.
that happen. That's what and that's a huge, huge part of how I do whatever I do. But in this case, it's like,
This
no,
was life or death. So
right.
it's like, yeah,
I'm not going to share this with anyone who might think a negative thought about me because,
yeah.
that so's not
And
going to
when you
work.
mean, when you say negative thought, to clarify this, and I know we're going to go a little bit longer, but this is a critical piece. When you're saying negative thought, you're not meaning like bad Lynn. You're meaning seeing you as not healthy, seeing you as sick, seeing you like that kind of thing.
Worrying about me.
That's right, because that kind of energy does not serve you. we
No.
we have beliefs about energy going out into the universe, and like all of these things which will come out over time. And
Yeah.
mom has a beautiful spiritual side to her that she doesn't talk about very much, which I'm going to poke her to share with us. um but that's what you mean by negative. You mean like out of love, but worrying,
Yes.
fear, illness, sick,
Yeah.
focusing on cancer, versus, which is why I want this conversation. Yes, we're sharing your cancer journey because the way you've handled it is so beautiful, in that it's focusing on health, healing, a vibrant life, lungs being healthy, there being no flu, like all of these things. And the way that you do this are the things that I want to break down over the weeks, because it's, maybe it's not cancer that somebody's challenge, but the way you do it can be translated over into whatever challenge that we might be facing.
Yeah.
So
Because who you talk to, what your beliefs are, and who you share things with, and how you share them is really, really critical in terms of how you live life.
can you just say a little bit more about that? Who you
Um,
share them with and all of that. You just like, why is that important?
well, because I don't, it's just, I
Just,
don't even know what I said, when I do
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right?
I
It's
mean,
like,
who we spend our time with, what we're listening, their response back to us, all of these conversations, like you're very careful
yeah,
because you didn't want to have conversations that wouldn't support you, that would challenge you, that would have to fight in your mind, overcome what it is that they said to get back to the place that you needed to be in order to heal your body. Well, that goes the same for all of the things in life,
right.
right? If
So
if
wanting to be around people that really see you as a strong, vibrant person who can, do whatever they need to do. So the only people that I shared this with were people that just know and knew I was going to heal my body,
yeah,
period.
yeah,
And so I couldn't afford to have anything else near me. It
yeah,
had to be just people that completely believed in me. And yeah. And so this is a really big deal. Like us sharing this is a big, big deal for me.
yeah, yeah. It is a big deal. And so everyone, listening to this at any point, who knows when, you know, I ask you to hear that. Like, I want everyone to hear that as well. Number one, for themselves, and number one, for you. It's a way of thinking and approaching. So if we have conversations about our problems all the time with people, and we go into like, which we could be right, not about, we could be right in whatever our problem is in talking about that. It's not going to allow us to be resourceful and do what we need to do in order to live the life we want to live. Like that's the bottom line, right?
Which is again where I want to teach everything.
I know. I know. And you will get, let's give you little opportunities in here because you love it. And then that'll be fulfilling to you and you'll come back for more.
Okay.
But for today,
Yeah.
let's say, these are the conversations we're going to have. I want everyone to get a little snippet of how blessed I am to have you as my mom, the beautiful conversations that we have, your way of doing life and your way of navigating this challenge. And Pete, by the way, you've had other ones too. And yeah, we're just going to have these conversations, casual, no format, and we'll see where this takes us.
Okay. Sounds good, my convincing daughter.
I know. I love you.
I love you too.
Until next Monday. See you next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.